Hello students. So today our new topic simple pendulum. Okay. This simple pendulum is generally used to measure time. Okay. So length, mass we have done. Now it is time. So this is a setup of simple pendulum where this is a string. Okay, and this is a bob. Okay, bob means a metallic ball. You can think of a metallic ball. So this metallic ball is hanging from this point, okay, using this string. So now suppose you pull that string on one side and lift it. Then what will happen? What will happen? It will move from this side to this side, again come back to this side. So in this way it will oscillate, okay. In this way it will oscillate. That means simple pendulum is an example of oscillation. Okay, so simple pendulum is an example of oscillation. So what do you mean by oscillation? What is the meaning of oscillation? So oscillation means what? It is a to and fro motion. Okay, to and fro motion. So it is a to and fro motion of bob about its mean position. Okay, about its mean position. There is a new term, mean position. What does this mean? Mean position. Mean position means initially when the bob is not oscillating, then at a point on its path the bob will be at rest. Okay, bob will be at rest means there is no external force acting on the bob. Total force acting on the bob is 0. Okay, so at which position total force acting on the bob is 0? That is this position. Okay, so this position is known as the mean position. So this position is known as mean position. Okay, mean position, and the bob will oscillate about this mean position. Bob will oscillate about this mean position. Okay, now look at here. There are 2 points A and B I've written here. So this is basically A and B are the extreme position of this bob. Okay, so beyond this, beyond A and B, the bob will not go. Okay, so A and B are the extreme positions of the bob when it is in oscillation. Okay, so now oscillation. Now one oscillation means what? One oscillation means what? How will you understand? So suppose the bob has started from this position. You give a force. Okay, then what will happen? Bob will move in this way. It will reach to one extreme point. Then it will again come back. Here it will not stop. Again go to the other side, other end. Okay, at point B. Okay, from that point again it will come back to A. So this path O to A, then A to B, then B to O. This total path is one oscillation. Look at here. So B, this is B point, this is O point, and this is A point. Okay. Suppose the bob is starting its oscillation from point O. So it will go from O to one extreme point A. Okay. Then A to B, another extreme point. Okay, then B to again O. This total distance means one oscillation. Okay, you can start it from any point on its path. Suppose you want to start from A, one extreme point. Okay, so look at here. So A, so it will start from a one extreme point. So from A to O, then it will go to B. Okay, other extreme point. Then B to again A. This is one oscillation. A to B, then B to A. It means the bob or simple pendulum has completed its one oscillation. Okay, understand how to find the one oscillation in simple pendulum. Okay, now come to different terms related to simple pendulum. Okay, so different terms like amplitude, okay, like time period, like frequency, okay, like this length, okay, what will be the total length. Okay, so one by one we will discuss this. So first one is amplitude. First one, amplitude. Amplitude means what? Amplitude means the maximum distance from the mean position on either side. Okay, it is the maximum distance covered by the bob on either side of mean position. Okay, so it is basically a distance. Okay, and distance is measured in meter or centimeter. So unit will be meter in SI system and centimeter in CGS system. Okay, and it is denoted by capital A or small a. Okay, so here the amplitude is OA or on this side OB. So here OA or OB, these distance are the amplitude of this simple pendulum, and amplitudes will be same. Okay, amplitudes will be same for this simple pendulum. Amplitude is same, means OA and OB is same. Okay, next time period. Next point, time period. So second point, time period. Time period is denoted by capital T. Okay, so what is the meaning of time period? Time period is the time required to complete one oscillation. Okay, it is the time required to complete one oscillation. Okay, so time period is denoted by capital T, and it is a time, that means unit will be, what is the unit of time in CGS or SI system? It is second. Okay, time period is in second. Okay, now come to frequency. Third one is frequency. What is the meaning? Third point is frequency. Okay, frequency is denoted by small f. What is the meaning of frequency? Frequency means the number of complete oscillation in 1 second. Okay, time period means the time for one complete oscillation, and frequency means number of complete oscillations in 1 second. So number of complete oscillations in 1 second. Okay, the number of complete oscillations in 1 second. Unit, it is denoted by small f, and what will be the unit? Unit is 1 by second. Okay, or it is written as second inverse. It has a particular name, Hertz. Okay, Hertz. Hertz is written as Hj. Okay, so frequency as unit, Hertz. Now we will see what is the relation between frequency and time period. Okay, So next one is frequency and time period. Relation between. Now what is the relation between frequency and time period? Relation between frequency and time period. Okay, time period. It is capital T and frequency here write small a. Okay, what is the relation? What is the relation? Okay, so frequency means what? Number of complete oscillations in 1 second. Okay, so suppose there are 8 number of oscillations in 1 second. So 8 number of oscillations in 1 second. Okay, so one number of one oscillation in how much second? So one number of oscillation in how much? 1 by 8, right? 1 by 8 second. 8 number of oscillations in 1 second. So one number of oscillations will be in 1 by 8 second. Okay, and time required to complete one oscillation is known as time period. So this is time period. So therefore time period T equal to 1 by 8. So this is the relation. You can write it like this: T equal to 1 by 8. This is the relation between time period and frequency of a simple pendulum. Okay, T equal to 1 by 8. Using this relation, you may get numericals also. Okay, so solve a numerical. Okay, so I am using this part. Now numerical. So question. Suppose a pendulum completes 40 oscillations in 1 minute. In 1 minute. Okay, find frequency. Okay, this kind of question you may get find frequency. How will you calculate? Here it is given 40 oscillations in 1 minute. Okay, time is given here in minute, but we have to find the time in second. Okay, so 40 oscillations in 1 minute. 1 minute means how much second? 60 second. Okay, 40 oscillations in 60 second. Okay, so we have to find frequency. That means number of oscillations in 1 second. Okay, so therefore number of oscillations in 1 second. What will be the number of oscillations in 1 second? In 60 seconds, 40 oscillations. In 60 seconds, 40 oscillations. In 1 second, how much? 40 by 60. So 40 by 60. Number of oscillations in 1 second is 40 by 60. Okay, that means it will be equal to how much? 2 by 3. Okay, so this is number of oscillation in 1 second. That means this is frequency, and frequency has the unit what? Hertz. So 2 by 3 hertz. Okay, so in this way we will solve this kind of problem. Find frequency. Frequency means number of oscillation in 1 second. Now after this question, suppose we are find time period also. Find time period. Then what you will do? You will use the relation here. Relation between time period and frequency. What is the relation? T equal to 1 by f. T equal to 1 by f. So f we have already calculated. This is f, right? This is frequency f. F we have already calculated. So what is the time period? So time period T equal to what? 1 by f. Okay, and 1 by f means what? It will be 3 by 2, reciprocal of 2 by 3, right? 1 by f, reciprocal of 2 by 3, that is 3 by 2. And it is time period, and time period has unit what? Second. Time period has unit second. So in this way, we will first find frequency and time periods. Okay, this is one kind of problem. Okay, understand? Okay. Now we will see. Suppose you are using this pendulum and you are doing an experiment. Okay, so from that experiment, you are finding the time. The pendulum is oscillating. This. Okay, and you are calculating the time. Okay. Seeing at your watch, seeing at stopwatch, you are getting the time. Okay, so we can observe time, and another thing we can observe, that is this length. Okay, so before doing this, I am telling about this length. What will be the effective length? So now effective length. Okay, effective length. It is denoted by small a. Okay, so how will you measure this effective length? Okay, so effective length means basically the total length from this point from which this bob is hanging. So distance between this point and the center of mass of this bob. Okay, so basically from this point to this point. Okay, so this total length means what? The length of the string plus the radius of the bob. Okay, so effective length means length of the string plus radius of the bob. Okay, as it is a uniform sphere, so it will, the center of mass will exactly lie at its center. So radius of sphere. Okay, so we can write it as L equal to length of string, suppose capital L, plus radius of the sphere is R. Okay, so this is effective length. So at the beginning of the experiment, we have to find the effective length also. Now, suppose you are doing an experiment. Okay, experiment of this simple pendulum. Okay, so in this experiment there are two variables. Variable means those things you can measure easily. Okay, so there are two variables. What are those two variables? Here two variables are the length of the string, okay, or you can tell the effective length, because if length of the string changes, effective length will change. So effective length is one variable. Another variable is what? The time period. The time period of oscillation. Another variable is time period of oscillation. So variables. What are the variables? First one is, so variables. First one is effective length. Effective length. That is A. And second one is time period. Time period. That is T. So these two things we can change. Okay, we can measure. Okay. Then after that we will find another new thing that we cannot measure easily. Okay. So effective length, if we change effective length, we will see that time period is changing. Okay. So at the beginning we will not take time period once. Okay. First we will take the time for 20 or 30 oscillations. Okay. Then we will divide that time by number of oscillations, we will get time period. Okay. So this is a kind of average. when we do average, then there are least errors. Okay, and if we take this time period once, then there must be an error, and that error, when we take it once, there will be an error, and that error is accountable. Okay, so we do not need any error in our experiment, right? For that reason, we do the average. We will take a total time for a number of oscillations, then we will divide that time by number of oscillations, we will get time period. Understand? So these are the two variables. Okay, now we will get a set of effective length and the corresponding time period. Okay, because when effective length changes, time period will also change. Okay, this thing you will see, you will observe when you do that experiment. Okay, so now what we will do, we will draw a graph. Graph between what? Graph between not t, a little bit change, t square versus L. Okay, we will draw a graph of t square versus L. Okay, so I am drawing that graph here. So this is the graph, this is L, and this is t square axis. T square is along y axis, L is on x axis. Okay, so why we are taking t square, not taking t? Okay, so this thing, the reason why we are taking t square, you will understand it now. So if you plot those sets, plot those L effective length and its corresponding time period square, you will get a graph like this. Okay, what kind of graph is this? This is straight line. Okay, and most of the time we want to find straight line graph. For that reason, here I have taken t square, not t. If you take t, the graph will not look like a straight line, because from straight line we can measure one thing easily, that is slope. Okay, slope means what? Slope means, suppose you extra plot the graph in the backward direction, so it will meet at a point on this L axis. Okay, and it will make an angle with this L axis. The tangent of that angle, tan theta, is the slope. Okay, so how will you measure that slope from the graph? Okay, you know the values. Okay, so how will you measure? So I am taking 2 points on the graph. One is, suppose this, you can take any 2 points. Okay, you will get same result. This is suppose L2, and I am taking another point is this. This is L1. Corresponding time period, this is T1 square and this is T2 square. Okay, now join this line. So this is a right angle triangle, right? Give a name A, B, C. This is a right angle triangle. Okay, this is theta. Okay, so what is slope? So slope equal to what? Tan theta. Tan theta. Now tan theta means what? Height by base. Height by base. So tan theta means CB by AB. CB by AB. Okay. Now CB means what? CB means this distance. Okay. So this is T1 square minus T2 square by AB. AB means this. This means this one. So L1 minus L2. So this is the slope that we can calculate from this graph, taking any 2 points on the curve. Okay. So this is slope. So what does this slope basically signify? Okay, that is the thing we want to calculate. Okay, why do we do this experiment? To calculate something, to calculate any unknown thing, to calculate a physical quantity which we cannot measure easily. Okay, for that reason we take the help of an experiment. Okay, so using this experiment, what we want to find? This slope, and this slope signifies this is equal to 4 pi square by g. So I'm writing it here. Slope equal to 4 pi square by g. Okay, what is g? G is the gravitational acceleration at that place where you are doing this experiment. Okay, so basically we want to find this thing after doing this experiment. Okay, so this is gravitational acceleration. So what will be its formula from this equation? It will be g equal to 4 pi square by t square, slope of t square versus L graph. T square versus L graph. Okay, so this is the thing we want to find at the end of this experiment. So if you do this experiment at a same place and you do the experiment suppose 5 times, 10 times, then you will get the value of this same. That means you will get this slope same and you will get exactly same graph at a particular place. But if you change your place and do the same experiment at different places, then this value, gravitational acceleration, will change. Your slope will change. That means the gravitational acceleration will change from place to place. Okay, so this is the thing basically in this part. In the next part of simple pendulum, we will see how this time period of simple pendulum is related to different terms. Okay, on which factors this time period of simple pendulum depends, and on which factors this time period of simple pendulum does not depend. This thing we will see in our next part of simple pendulum. Okay, fine. Okay.